Is that what that is?
I don't know if it's Team Whimsy,
That's,
but sure.
No, it's, yeah.
Okay, oh, the two options.
It's purple.
There we go. I don't know where to go from that. I'm just...
Pellets.
It has pellets.
Like an owl.
Does it have pellets like an owl? That's a Velociraptor chicken. There's nothing in there, in either of them, that says...
It works.
Yep.
I'm super excited about the Red Dragon. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm Gretchen.
I'm Dave.
And today we are going to paint some Nighthaunts.
We are. Yeah. We're painting some Nighthaunts from Games Workshop for their from their Warhammer Age of Sigmar range. So we have this box. Oh. The Tormented Spirits box.
Oh, is that supposed to be spooky, Leona? Was I supposed to... Oh. Ooh. Was that spookier?
We'll just have it float away.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Thanks. I'll leave it there. I'll just put it down. There we go.
Right.
Cool. Yes. So I think we've painted some Nighthaunts before from some of the sort of the starter set box sets that they have. So like I think Soul Wars was one that we did it from, and that's that sort of thing.
And you have some of them over there, right?
I brought some. These are actually some that I've painted separately for a game that I'm running at Adepticon in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks from today. Count them. I will not be here.
Be sooner rather than later.
It will be. It'll be ridiculously soon. But yes, I'm running a game that is not set in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar world, but in the Warhammer 40,000 world, universe, whatever. But yeah, all these people have been invited to a funeral. And they're bringing their characters and their henchmen and that kind of thing to this funeral.
That's really cool.
But the funeral is on a cemetery world, so the whole world is given over to...
The whole world?
Yeah.
That's magical.
Yes, absolutely. So think of a wonderful mix of, like, I think Père Lachaise, I think that's the name of the cemetery in Paris, which has got all these wonderful mausoleums and has the catacombs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. And, like, cemeteries in Louisiana. So, but where there's a lot of... They're above ground. There's going to be a lot of wandering around and a lot of uncertainty. A lot of labyrinth kind of feel
That's the best, though.
To it. And yeah, so I'm just going to take that off there for a second and pop these up. These are the Mirmorn Banshees from GW. But the folks who come and play in my game may encounter these at some point.
There we go. Now I can see the chat.
Cool. Hey, chat. That says, "Oh goodness, we're in for another silly day."
It keeps everything exciting, Kat.
It does. It does.
Those are fantastic, though. I love the ethereal green.
Yeah. So that's I did all that using the HexWraith flame. This pot of HexWraith flame is making its return to the show.
On your side, I'll choose a different color.
You can totally use this. You can totally use this other half.
I won't spill it this time.
Probably about a year ago, Gretchen spilled half of the pot of the HexWraith flame.
And there was so much inside that it's still usable.
I was still, exactly. I was still able to paint other things with it.
Go Citadel.
Yay! Good work. Good work, Games Workshop. So, but yes, I used that. So I primed them white, which is what Leona's done for us today, primed all their stuff white. I thinned this down, ran it over in a wash, and then once I let that dry, and then mixed some white in with this to work up those highlights. But it gives that, does have that wonderful, very spooky, ethereal glow. This is one of my favorite ones that's going around at the moment because the spirit is sort of coming up through that headstone. Yeah, but these models are fantastic, and yeah, I'm excited to unleash them upon unsuspecting gamers Although I will admit, in the lead up to the game, in a little Facebook group that we've got, and also on Instagram, I have posted pictures of them, and said like the cemetery world definitely does not have ghosts.
Definitely doesn't.
Definitely no ghosts. On
No ghosts.
Cemetery world.
Yeah. That's not. No.
Yeah. But one other thing that I'm doing for it, so just quickly, is
Oh, what is?
so
That's scary.
yeah, quite a while ago we painted up some of the endless spells from Games Workshop from the Malign Sorcery supplement, and one of them is quite a wide sort of wave. It's called the Suffocating Gravetide, and what I've done with this is I've trimmed it down. I'm working on puttying up the sides and adding some more texture there, getting a good shape. So it's still going to be that wave idea, but it's going to be able to fit down the little corridors that I've got planned for it.
Fantastic.
So there's a possibility they may encounter this as well.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like low though. Like they shouldn't worry about this. They shouldn't be prepared for it in any way, shape, or form.
Hopefully none of them are
because,
watching.
You know.
Fingers crossed none of them are watching. And it'll be a great surprise. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
The large wooden ring around Dave's camera is what his camera is attached to, and it is purposeful in that it keeps the camera up, and it is also originally a dice
Dice tray.
yeah, tray.
Yep.
So yeah. It has a purpose, just not the one intended. It's also a really good corral for your ghosts.
It is. It
It's
is.
a
You can
ghost
totally
corral.
keep all the ghosts in the corral. There we go.
You know.
Now I know where they are. I just have to remember to take them with me.
Don't forget your ghosts, Dave. I'll remind you.
I will not give up the ghosts.
At the end of the show, I'll let you.
Yeah, that would be nice. Cool. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I will let you know that this is available.
I'll do blue. I'll do a spooky blue.
Spooky blue?
Yeah,
Okay.
spooky
Right,
blue.
spooky
It's still in the realm of all the stuff. Just find the same kind of spooky hue, and I'll do the same thing, tone it down, and then bring it back up.
Excellent. Excellent. We
Those
have,
are the same blues.
I'll do the Athematic blue.
Yeah,
The
that seems
Athematic
like a
blues-
nice spooky color.
It is a really nice blue. It's quite pale, though, but it's a great blue. So a couple of one coat over the whole thing, and then in some little shadow areas, put a second coat. But it's definitely nice. I'm going to start on a Black Knight here. One of the Black Knights. So I think your horseman is assembled as a HexWraith.
He is. I like him. He's cool. He looks so excited to be doing his job.
He is. He's got his.
Yeah, his arms are just up. He's not actually like holding his scythe in a way that allows you to swing it. He's just scythe.
Look at my scythe!
He's excited.
He is very excited.
He's gonna do his job, and he's gonna do it so well.
Undoubtedly excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That is good. I'm going to start with.
Falcon. Early Halloween show. It's always Halloween
Well, we
when you
when you
want it to be.
When you want it to be. Yes, it is the favorite holiday. But there aren't a lot of. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, and there aren't a lot of turkey miniatures.
We'll find you one.
I have a feeling we might have painted them all on the show already.
We'll find you a turkey mini, Dave.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
That'll be
I can't really think of anything. Are there any spring specific minis
There probably are. I would suspect that.
other than foliage?
Other than foliage, yeah. I think I'm going to guess that in the the Reaper bones, or just even in any of the Reaper ranges, that there are probably some cool minis. I think Darksword might have some, but Kingdom Death
Okay.
has the Flower Knight.
That's very springy. We could be thematic.
Something with flower theme.
Banshees are Irish and March is the month for that. There we go.
Great connection. Good work. Thanks for that, Kat.
Saving the day.
Yep. But yeah, so I'm going to start with just using some Skeleton Horde here from the GW Contrast paints to paint all of the skulls and bones on the spirit host here. Get that out of the way. And then I can jump straight into painting the skeletal horse.
Woohoo. I cannot tell you if that's an accurate skeleton or not.
And I will
I
just
could
say...
feel that question
Sure.
formulating.
No, I was going to avoid it. Miniature holder. Check it out, Kat.
Oh, right. I should be using that.
Facebook question?
It's not popping up for me.
Refresh.
Which would explain why I was confused and like, oh, hey. Oh, look, there's actually people here. I was like, maybe everyone's at work. I don't know. Hey, Byron. Hey, Carl.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jason. Byron, why do ghosts have clothes? Clothes have a spirit? I don't know. It's magic.
Magical clothes.
It's...
Yes. There are a lot of good questions that just can't be answered.
I'm not a ghost expert.
No? I'm not asking you to be an expert. You just speculate. Speculate on why ghosts have clothes. Because they're into fashion too.
It helps with them being spooky. I mean, mine don't have clothes.
Yeah?
Mine are blobby.
Okay.
Like they're just they're smoke blobs.
I think one of my favorite questions regarding like ghosts with clothes is the one that I've seen posted a number of times on social media is why are all ghosts like from the 19th century?
Yeah.
Where are the ones from the 70s and the 80s?
I would be an obnoxious ghost.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah, because what else am I going to do?
When you say being an obnoxious ghost, you can be like a poltergeist or?
Like, I wouldn't be an evil ghost, but I would definitely, because I'm assuming if I became a ghost, it's because I died before I was ready to, right?
Right. Okay.
And that would make me mad.
Sure.
So
that's fair.
I'm gonna haunt people.
Okay.
Yeah. Specifically the people who indulged that. Yeah. Who made that happen.
Oh, people who made you dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. It won't be us then.
I mean, for like funsies.
All right. You'll just pop by occasionally.
There's that too.
Every other Thursday.
there's haunting, and then there's just like shenanigans.
Sure. Okay.
So.
Fingers crossed it's not all real.
Dave's over here like, I hope Gretchen never dies an untimely death. I don't want to deal with that for Thursdays for the rest of eternity.
Yep, that would be rough. That would be rough. I think that enough paint pots are being knocked over already.
That's exactly what I was thinking. There's the paint pot start.
Yep. So the great thing about this Black Knight is not only can I hit the skeletal horse with the skeleton horde contrast paint, I can also get the rider. But yes, there is actually a reason that we're painting spooky stuff today, right?
There is, right? We talked a little bit earlier about that.
Yeah.
I found out earlier today that the Kickstarter for the independent horror film that I'm in got their third celebrity guest.
Oh, fantastic.
So there's going to be 3 different celebrities of varying celebrity,
right.
Yeah, who are going to cameo in our production.
Fantastic.
Bloody Summer Camp, putting the
Keep an eye
camp.
out for it. Putting the camp. What's the
Putting
tagline?
the camp in. I know it's my tagline. It's not everyone else's now.
Right.
Putting the camp in campy and the slash and slasher. If you like 80s horror,
Right.
specifically 80s horror that.
Like the morality tale, 80s horror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Sleepaway Camp or things like that, then this is definitely going to be your jam.
Cool.
It's based in the 80s. I'll have big hair. I also play a very mean person. So you'll have
Well,
to...
I think it's great that you can work against like
Typecasting?
Yeah, against typecasting. Yeah.
So...
Because I mean, so much of Hollywood these days is people just play themselves.
True.
Like Vince Vaughn.
How do you know I'm not secretly mean?
I don't think you'd be able to.
Shove you in a locker.
We have a locker right there, and in all the years I've known you, you never once tried to shove me in that.
That's fair.
That's what I'm working off as far as your level of meanness.
But
I will admit I did not go to high school with you, so I have no idea what you were like in high school.
I ran anime club.
Again, I have no idea what that means.
It means I was probably the one
vague
who get
idea.
shoved into lockers.
All right, okay.
But yeah, so it's going to be really fun. And it'll be a fun time, and we're starting filming in less than a week now. So that'll be really cool. Keep a lookout for Bloody Summer Camp.
Excellent.
Or just, type it into Facebook and see what it's about if you like campy slashers. Yeah, that's my spooky news.
Right.
If you like campy slashers and want to see me be a mean girl.
Be campy.
Be campy. I'll be a camp counselor.
So Gretchen is going to die? In the movie. In the movie.
Maybe.
Spoiler
You'll have
alert.
to watch the movie.
She dies.
She dies. Jason, so Gretchen is going to die.
Shh. Don't tell anyone.
Spoilers. I can't say whether or not I die or not. I can only let you muse on that based on your knowledge of archetypes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
slashers.
Does everybody die? Everybody dies.
But it's going to be a fun time.
Even the killer, but then he comes back. I love that there was just a chuckle and no denial.
I'm like Tom Holland. If you let me, I would be like, spoilers, spoilers abound, and
Yep.
sing a jingle all about the spoilers that were going to happen.
Awesome.
And then I would make the director sad.
Right. That would make the director sad.
So instead, I'm just going to be like, things happen. Use your imagination.
Yep.
If you were alive in the 80s and enjoyed slashers and independent horror films, you have a good idea.
Excellent. That'll be cool.
So, Dave, what color are you using now?
What color am I using now? Now I am. I've used some of the contrast medium. That was what I put out there first. That was the sort of the clear.
Gotcha.
Coat, and now I have mixed in some of the HexWraith Flame. I think the kind of the HexWraith Flame was. Don't look at that. There we go. Let's push that away. The HexWraith Flame, along with Nighthaunt Gloom, which is kind of a sort of a desaturated blue, are two technical paints that were released by GW probably about 6 to 8 months before the Citadel, before the contrast release. So I think they were kind of they'd been testing the contrast paints idea.
Gotcha.
For a little while. But yeah, these ones have that very much that that contrast consistency.
That works really well for these types of
It does.
minis.
Yeah. Anything ghostly. It's definitely cool.
Byron says, Gretchen, scream queen.
Scream
I
queen.
do scream. I'll tell you that. I feel like that's not a spoiler because it is spooky.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, we have a question from Kat on YouTube.
Dave, your wet palette looks exceptionally soupy today.
Soupy. It does have quite a bit of water underneath there. On top isn't too bad, but yeah. I made it fresh right before the show. Well, an hour before the show or so.
paint
Fresh.
soup. That's
Yes, fresh paint soup.
Delicious.
But yeah, so I did that. So I made sure it was nice and clean, especially after sort of the shame of showing up last week with a dirty wet palette. So I could feel better about this. But it's good. All good. I think when I was asking about like spirits wearing clothes, I'm going to ask as well about ghosts with knives.
it's just a thing.
We are ethereal.
When
we will float through walls, but we will also stab you.
When you die, you're just you come back with a like character creation screen,
Okay.
and you just equip.
You
It's
get, oh,
fine.
you go through and
Yeah.
Well, I feel like night haunts in the Warhammer world are very different than just like any ghosts.
they're not the
right?
usual kind of ghosts.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I
mean, they've banded together.
This one here is coming out of the. See, I don't know whether he's coming out
The
the skull of
skull?
the skeleton.
I think it's the skull.
So is it the soul escaping?
I don't know.
So what was the skeleton doing, hiding that soul in its head?
Maybe it is his soul. Like that's his corporal form, and he has 3 souls.
Right.
I don't
have
know.
questions. I have questions.
Like,
I'm actually going to suggest that maybe it's just because skeletons are much scarier.
that's fair.
But yeah, I'm happy to paint them anyway, regardless. I think it's quite cool. What I'll be able
Regardless
to
of their fashion sense.
regardless of their fashion sense or the amount of sense it makes that they've got these really sharp knives. And it's just this one that's got the knives. The other two have like the claws. Oh no, this one has a knife as well.
There's knives.
Yeah, there's
'Cause we're
another one in
painting
there.
the same ones.
Are we?
Yeah, right now.
Okay. Cool.
They're similar,
Oh,
but they're a little
similar, yeah.
different.
Oh, they're similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not the
almost.
same. No.
Huh.
There's
Green
3
versus blue.
different soul. They call them spirit hosts.
Spirit hosts.
I
Yep.
believe.
They're indeed the spirit hosts. I think they're.
They were difficult to put together. I'm not
Trying
gonna
to
lie.
be so careful. I'm terrified I'm just gonna do the wrong thing.
And pop
Yep.
one off.
Yeah. I'm not a graceful, delicate person. I'm a disaster.
Cool.
Oh, Falcon says a respawn menu just pops up when you're a ghost.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Radio. That would be. That makes sense now. I can totally accept the knives. You guys have
Respawn.
brought me
Then
around.
you find out what level you've been this whole time.
Right.
Oh man, I didn't get enough XP. I can only afford this knife.
Yeah.
Also, I want to shout out to our 5 viewers on Twitch. We
Oh.
actually have some viewers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
5 viewers. That's very cool. 5 viewers on Twitch.
I can't
Woohoo.
see your chat right now
That's new.
because that's the way it is.
exciting.
But
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
All right. Let that go. Add some white. I'm liking the blue.
I think it's looking good.
It's a different kind of spooky feeling than the green,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
for sure.
so Gretchen, what color are you adding in?
I had the. You want to pronounce the athermap?
Athematic blue.
Yeah, that. And I'm mixing it with white scar.
Here we go. Oh, pass me the. So put it under here. Here we go.
So I
Oh,
can start bringing up some highlights and
I got it.
There we go. There we go. So
Making
Gretchen has
them-
been using
look a little bit more ethereal.
the contrast athematic blue.
Very nice.
Cool. And you're adding a little bit more what?
A little bit of
oh,
white.
a little bit of white. Okay, cool. I need to let all of this dry a bit. So I'll pop that out, put it to the side, and come back to the Black Knight. Okay. Now then, oh, you're good. Oh, there's somebody on Facebook suggesting that you're like a bull in a china shop.
Facebook isn't loading properly for me. I keep having to refresh it. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Facebook. I'm trying so hard.
I was going to say the Black Knight has
It says bull in a china shop.
has a lot of armor. So there's barding on the steed. There's chainmail. There are shoulder like pauldrons here. There's a breastplate and backplate. So what I'm going to do now is run through with some gunmetal from the army painter, and I'll paint all of those metallic areas, so they can come back and do some washing over that. Because obviously, for a Black Knight, you want a dark, sort of iron armor look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something spooky.
Spooky. Spooky rather than scary.
Obviously,
Very
we're
different.
family friendly here.
Right.
We're not going to be scary.
Scary, right? Okay. Is that the difference? Spooky is
I
family
just
friendly?
decided it is.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if that was like a Disney thing.
I don't think it's a Disney thing. I think it's just just an understood thing that if something is spooky, it's like the happy kind of scary, like the this is fun and games kind of scary, and not like I'm actually in mortal peril, gonna have nightmares later.
Right. Okay.
Kind
In that
of.
case, I'm going for scary.
Okay. Well. All right then.
Excellent. I think I really like this gunmetal from the army painter because it goes on very smoothly. So from there, you've got the option to have very very nice sort of neat, smooth armor plates, or you can start to texture it up, add stippling with different rust colors and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for a nice kind of dark iron kind of look. Almost sort of cast iron skillet.
Almost a cast iron skillet?
Almost cast iron skillet.
Does that
kinda
mean
look.
he seasons his armor
I think you'd probably need to.
in order to keep it fresh?
Yep. Yeah, in order to keep it from rusting when you cook your eggs on it.
When you cook your eggs on your armor?
Yeah. Or your skillet, whichever way. But, yeah. And then it can come.
It's the ghost.
Spooky.
That was someone knocking on the side door. We're not home.
Shh.
No soliciting.
Walt on Twitch says, I love the old Citadel undead minis from the 80s. They were very spooky.
Yes, definitely. There were a lot of great models from that range. For sure. I think one of the first complete armies that I painted was a skeleton army. It was all it was one of Games Workshop's very early plastic ranges, and yeah, everything was. So you had legs, the legs and pelvis. Then you had the torso, and you had arms.
Did you just
The different arms,
put them
and you
together?
had the skull, and you had what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 5 pieces for each skeleton, and then you could add a shield, or there might be a helmet that you could slip on over.
So you could
the skull.
customize them.
Yeah, yep. You could you put them in all sorts of poses. It was amazing.
That's really cool.
But it did take a little while. but that was with the plastics. But there's a fantastic range of metal miniatures as well that were available. A lot of character in them. But, oh, I think we're going to paint. Oh, where's his helmet there? How are you finding that highlighting is working?
I think it's
Looking good?
working quite good, yeah. I've only started on this guy so far.
Cool.
So I'm picking out all of the lightest bits, trying to make him look, trying to take my time so that it's smooth.
Smooth,
like
yeah.
smoke and
Yeah. Here's the thing with something ethereal, you don't want it looking rough or sort of dusty.
I'm trying to very carefully just pick everything up.
I think I've got kind of the base coats down for all of the metal pieces. There are a few little bits and pieces around, so on the bridle and possibly around the hand here on the lance that I can come back and do later. But the lance tip, it's got a lot of very cool pitting and rusting, and it's kind of broken off a little bit, so that'll be good to come back and do some texture work on.
I said a broken lance.
But you chuckled at the same time.
Yeah, because it'd be broken. How's that supposed to be spooky?
Oh, right, okay. Like just half a lance? I should have just said the tip, the lance tip. Broken. Not the whole thing.
Like that'd be the equivalent of like a ghost comes out and it's like, oh, I'm a scary ghost. I'm gonna, do scary ghost things. And then they have like a water gun.
Oh, right. They squirt you with the water gun.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe
Or
they
like a
trip when they're
broken
chasing
knife. Yeah. Non-effective ghost.
you. Right. I think this guy would still be pretty effective. And yeah. Okay. Let that dry. Come back to that. I wonder if I should put some green on those ghosts. Should I do that? Let's
I
do
think
that.
you should.
Okay. Let's have some green on these ghosts while we take a look at
Is it mini
some
time?
of the. I think it might be the time to have a look at some of the minis from the Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook group. So what do we have, Leona?
We have patience.
Yep. I think we went up over overnight. We went up over 1,600 members. So
Wow,
We
that's amazing.
did.
Oh, hey,
Nice
look,
and
more ghosts.
oh,
Yeah.
awesome!
Isn't that funny?
Perfectly chosen there, Leona.
Dave painted these,
Yeah.
and it was great. So I had to put them in.
Yep, definitely. So they look fantastic, Dave. I think, yeah, I love the way that you're the faces of the spirits. You've taken them up that sort of that extra level. There's a great difference between them. They're all that almost bony white,
Yeah, it looks
and
like
with
they're
that sort of electric green
like they're
behind them.
almost trying to become solid. Like they could actually
Yeah.
hit you with their. It's not a ghost knife. That's a real knife.
It's almost a real knife, yeah. Yep. But no, I think it's looking great. And the way that you've got the photo with the white background showing through some of those eye sockets, it's just that adds that extra spooky sort of level to it. But no, nice work, Dave. They look great. Oh, Simon Tester. It's another warband. This is a Nurgle warband for Warhammer Underworlds, which is another place where we've painted some Nighthaunts.
That's a really good color scheme.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely look cool. I love that that sort of mustard yellow, dirty sort of mustard yellow thing in there. But yeah, she looks great. And do you like the little demon cat?
I always love
Down on
demon cats because they remind me of my own cat,
Right.
who is in fact a demon,
Demon.
cat.
But yeah, it's a crazy little sort of cat body with a nurgling head. But looks awesome. Nice work there, Simon. They look great. Oh, Svein has been painting up a whole bunch of stuff from the Sigmar game Hate. And this particular one looks awesome. Love the work on
Flash.
the work on that blade as well on the axe. Looks really cool.
The little touches of blood left over.
Yeah. Yep. The little smears. Looks nice. And I love the way that you frame the face there with those with the horns. It looks really cool. Nice work. Oh, Junior's painting up. Lyria is an Eladrin.
Well, that's springy.
Yeah, definitely.
I love all the flowers.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah, it looks like she's been sort of striding her way across a meadow full of flowers, ready to unleash that bow. But yeah, it looks very cool there. And I love again that the green on the green of the leather, so the braces, the quiver against the red of the hair, the yellow and the purple, working well. But looking great. Nice work, June. Mike Evans, 3D printed initiative markers.
That's really cool.
Oh, okay. So do you have one? You have one for each. I guess you have one for each player, and then you do you. I guess indeed do you roll to see who
You
has
roll?
initiative, and then
Yeah.
Correct.
and it.
He would put them in order.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Depending
easy to
on
keep
the
track.
initiative.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Mike. Very cool. I'm going to suspect that Mike has had players conveniently forget
I
when their
would
initiative
forget.
was.
I love role
Not necessarily
games.
conveniently, but just you just
I
forget.
love them, but I would definitely get use out of a marker.
Right.
Where am I? Who's playing? Whose turn has it been now?
What's the?
What's happening in battle this moment?
Yeah. Nice work, Mike. It's a great idea. Lee,
Like I said, it's just a towel.
just a towel. Just a little
Yeah.
towel. Just a towel fire warrior. This towel fire warrior looks awesome. Very cool. I love that pink.
It looks good against the blue.
Yeah, it does. It's working very well. And also the big toenails
Yeah.
on the towel. It's always good. They're kind of pseudo hooves.
Yeah,
Hoofs.
kind of like a rhinoceros.
Yeah? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to go and have a look at the rhinoceros now.
Have you never looked at rhino feet?
I have not.
Well,
I
your
have
search
not.
engine's gonna
I've always struggled to
have
get past the
something new on
horn.
it today.
Look at that horn! That's huge! I didn't want to take my eyes off it just in case I got charged. But no, looking greatly. I think, yeah, nice work on the that highlighting too. Good one. Art, all done with dice upon a time. Well, that's cool. Very neat. I think models.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Who's there? You see Snow White,
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Rapunzel.
Pardon?
Snow White.
Puss in Boots.
Some boots.
Peter
Yeah.
Pan, I think.
I don't know if it's Peter Pan
the
because
ri- the
there's
green?
on the side there's
King
the-
John. Oh, it's Robin Hood. That's
Robin Hood?
definitely
Ah,
Robin Hood.
yes.
Hood.
'Cause then
And
there's
the
definitely King
donkey
John.
and a
The dog.
dog and a cat and a
the chicken.
hen.
Yep.
I think that's the Berenstein music group or whatever.
Mm.
There's
I know,
a book.
But I do
I'll
know.
show it to you
I know the
afterwards.
story.
Yeah.
I can't remember it exactly, but I know I have.
Oh, that's
encountered it.
fun. I really
But,
like the line work on the donkey.
Yeah, it does look great. And is that's a carrot sticking outside of its mouth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fantastic work, Art. Done a great job bringing those to life. Oh,
Oh, that looks rad.
yeah. So yeah, Peter posted this up, and he also posted a picture of the Reaper Monday kit kind of thing. So in there's a miniature for each Monday night, as well as a set of paints. And I think a friend of the show, Josh, is putting those together for Reaper and the Reaper Miniature Mondays. But yeah, it's definitely looking cool. I always love sort of golem kind of type things and elementals.
I like the on the right left arm.
Left arm.
On the
The
arm.
miniature's left arm.
That it almost looks like light is coming through with the
Yeah.
way those highlights are, and it gives it much more of an ice
Yeah.
kind of feel.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't have a feeling this one might be cast in translucent resin.
Ooh.
And so when Peter's worked sort of the other ways, but I could be completely wrong. You'll have to let us know, Peter. But it does look great, regardless of which way it's gone. A nice one.
Oh, Black Widow.
Seth is working on Black Widow. Very cool. So we saw Spider-Man, I think, last week from Seth.
We did.
So great to see the next one. Looking good. Chris has painted up 3 Storm Talons. So that's one. There's one in the shot there. And
I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm counting correctly.
Yes. How many lights are there?
Lots.
4. No. Yes. But looking good there. Looking good there, Chris. I think that grey has got a greenish tinge. Is that just me? Or is it the...
No, it definitely has like a greenish kind of tinge to it.
So, yeah.
It has like a green undertone.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see the Space Marines that they go with. Looking good there. Very nice, Chris. Oh, that's it for the moment. Ready
All
to go.
right.
That's it
We'll
for
have
now.
more though.
We will. Yes. Don't be afraid. So.
And if you would like to see, if you're new to the group, since we have gotten an influx of new people, I can speak words.
Influx?
Yeah.
You need to practice those words.
I
You have
do.
some filming coming up soon. Like maybe today, right now. Keep going.
Thank you, Dave.
Anytime.
If you would like to see your minis, and I know we have a bunch of people who just joined the group, then make sure that you are posting them. And Leona is going to pull them, every Wednesday? By Wednesday? All right.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday. And then they'll be posted up during the show. And if you are not part of our social media crew just yet, and you've just joined in, and you're like, who are these people painting minis and being silly? They need better jokes. Join us on our Facebook page.
It's true. And on our Facebook page, you can write us some jokes.
Oh, yeah. Please do.
And we will deliver them poorly.
I think we would deliver them, I would deliver them dramatically.
Sure.
I don't know about you. I would, if people wrote me jokes to say on the show, I would.
You'd
I
go
would
all
do that.
Shakespeare on them?
I would say them to you.
Okay. Cool.
Leona's gonna get a bunch of people on the Facebook page now just sending jokes in for Gretchen to read to Dave.
If you do, I will collect them.
Fantastic. So you can do that too. That would be great.
But first, post your
Totally.
miniatures.
Totally.
Yeah, we only accept jokes if they come with a miniature.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's been
Fantastic.
really cool. I think we're 1,000, like 6.
Yeah, 1,600?
Yeah,
Yep.
04
so.
or something.
No, it's been fantastic to see people joining and posting their minis. We had, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the person who posted yesterday, but their paints are on the way and they should be arriving tomorrow. Their first paints and their first brushes.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
That's so exciting.
they're asking for any hints and tips, and I sort of said just kind of get stuck in and have fun and post up some photos and show us and we can talk about it
Yeah.
on camera.
Best tip ever is not to be afraid.
Yep. And have fun.
Yes, that too. But it's hard to be afraid if you're having fun.
Well, I don't know. If you're into your horror movies, your slasher flicks. But
That's fair enough.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, miniature-wise, have fun and don't be afraid. Try things out. And yeah, we are happy to answer questions, which will be good. But speaking of questions, a question that has been posed to us today is, how do you choose a color scheme for your warband? So I'm going to extrapolate that into warband, army, force,
Yeah.
any sort of, I guess, organization of miniatures that you can have on the tabletop.
Yeah, I thought that would be helpful to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think when we're talking about more than just individual miniatures. So if you've got a lot of people might just paint individual characters or individual monsters, that sort of thing for the role playing. For tabletop wargaming, a lot of that is about painting lots of models.
So Dave, how do you come up with your color schemes?
That's a good question. I don't know. No.
And that's our show, folks.
Oh, dang it.
I think there are a couple of sort of basic tenets that I stick to, and one of them is one that I learnt from. I must admit, I can't remember exactly when I learnt it or what the situation was, but it's essentially it's a thing that's used in interior decorating or painting, sort of painting houses, painting interiors, is having using three different colors, having a dark tone, a mid-tone, and a light tone sort of arrangement of colors.
Yeah.
So you're not just having three colors that are all dark or three colors that are all mid kind of thing. And not putting them all on in even quantities. So
Yeah,
you don't have
definitely.
like 30% of this and 30% of that and 30% of that. So getting an imbalance, and so you might have 60% of the dark tone and 30% of the mid-tone and 10% of the light tone across the area of the miniature. So when you are working out what sort of color scheme to do for an army, so essentially if you're working on a uniform as such, that's the kind of thing that you can think about. So you work out first if you want your army to be sort of dark and evil and menacing, in which case you're going to go for a dark, like
Or
70% light.
opposite,
dark.
a happy sunshine army.
Happy sunshine, feel-good army, in which case you might have a lot of the bulk of that paint scheme, so the 70% might be yellows or greens or whites or creams, that sort of thing.
Like a hobbit army.
Yeah, exactly like that. Where you'd have wonderful tweed jackets
That'd be so cute.
and woolen pants and so on. But yeah, so it's that kind of thing. And I've painted a lot of Games Workshop stuff in my life. So one place I always go to get an idea of those sort of colors, that sort of approach to picking a color scheme, has been the box covers.
Ah.
So obviously you could take it direct from the box cover, or you just have a sort of get a general impression. So I'm going to pop this under the closed cam for a sec. I'm going to turn the back, show the back here. So here we have the HexWraiths, who are the guys that are on horseback. They've got the barding here, the cloth barding. They've got the skeletal horses, they're skeletons themselves. They're in dark armor, and they're wielding these spectral scythes. The spectral scythe and the dark armor and that sort of thing are all that's the dark tone. There's not a lot of it around there. It's maybe 10% of the model. The bulk of the model is the cloth barding, which so there's probably about 70% of it, 65%, which has that mid-tone green through it, and greenish blue. There's a lot of darker shading in there as well, but generally it's working as a mid-tone against that black or the dark armor you can see here, or the dark clothing. And then of course there's the skeletal bone that works as the light tone against those. If you were to take that black out of there and use something like a pure white on that armor or on those robes, this dark bluish green would become the dark tone. So you can sort of mess around with things there. Red is a great one as a mid-tone, because against black, It's a lot brighter than black, and it's also a lot darker than white. So it works well in the middle sort of thing. And that is where it's kind of how it's been used on the Wraith character in here. So you can see the robes are predominantly they're the dark color. You've got the blacks and the dark greens in there. The scythe is a lot lighter in color than the HexWraiths, the haft of the scythe. And the bones are sort of the light color there. And then that little touch of the red sort of burgundy over the top works as the midtone. So there's a lot of great sort of schemes out there that you can take from. I mean, Games Workshop has loads and loads and loads of them. You take from a different range, take from somewhere else, and include in your own painting, and just mess around with it. You could switch. You could take this sort of color scheme, that sort of the deep reddish blue. The deep greenish blue, the black, and the bone, and you could flip that around. You could stick that onto a Space Marine. You could put that onto an owl bear. All sorts of different things that you can do to take those cool colors. And use them elsewhere. There's a one great color scheme, classic color scheme from Games Workshop is for their Dark Angels Space Marines, which is on the Dark Angels predominantly dark green, like a very deep green with red and bone sort of accents. So the red is acting as the mid-tone, the bone is the light tone. When they go to their Terminator company, so the guys in the big heavy armored suits, they are predominantly bone with red and dark green accents. So they flip that around.
Bring those colors through.
Yep.
So everything kind of matches and looks good together without disrupting the flow.
Yeah, because you're using the same colors are being used across the army, but they're just being used in different combinations, different volumes, really, I guess.
Kat says, Dave, what percentage of the time do you just go wild and crazy and do your own color scheme?
Quite a bit of the time, actually. I do that. And what I usually find is about 3/4 of the way through, I've done something, and I know that it's not right, but I'm unsure of what the way to correct it.
And then you just make it work.
I do. From there, actually, usually I throw it out to a sort of a group of friends of mine. We paint lots of miniatures all the time, and there's a lot of them who have fantastic eyes for color. So it'll be, there's something wrong with this, guys. What do you think? What do I need to do? And they're like, well, to balance these other points around the miniature, this needs to be brighter, or this needs to be darker, this needs to have some green in it, some red in it, that sort of thing. So they're able to help me out with any sort of wild and crazy and experimental things that I do with my color schemes.
Let's see.
But
Byron says NFL colors, which I think is a good way to look at it, because they had a professional look at all those colors.
Right,
so
yes.
you know they're approved somewhere.
I'm not saying that all of them are great. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers throwback colors are not particularly good. I'm still getting to grips with the Seattle Seahawks colors, but they have a very bright fluorescent green in there.
Yeah, well,
But it is a good starting point, without a doubt.
And then the color wheel is also mentioned there, which I feel is always useful.
Yeah, it should always be on your desk or nearby. But yeah,
unless you're us. I like how you're like looking, and I'm like, we don't have one.
No, it's up here.
You have one in your mind.
We do. We have one in my mind, and occasionally we share it.
Bold. Yep. I was gonna say bold of you to assume that my mind is filled with anything other than glitter and confetti.
And miniature painting.
Miniature painting.
It is the whole rainbow of glitter and confetti, though.
It's the color wheel of it.
It is.
My mind is just a color wheel.
Yes, exactly. See, I think that's all right. I think that's fine.
We bring it back around.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do with this Black Knight is we talked about the where is it? I've gone and lost it. It's on here somewhere. There it is.
Dave, don't just go losing things.
Hmm?
Man.
Just don't just lose it. No, I'll try not to. What I'm going to do is use some of the. That's not the one. There it is. Some Agrax Earthshade and some Null Oil washes. So I'm going to use these, mix these together for a layer over the armor on this guy. So I'm going to pull those out onto the palette. Sorry, Leona?
That's dark.
It is quite dark, yeah. I mean, so I'm just going to wash this off and I'll just pull some of it across the palette. So you can start to see there. It's got, so I could have just used the Null Oil over it to get that, start to work towards that cast iron skillet kind of look. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to have the, a little bit of brown in there as well. I mean, if you look closely at a skillet, you'll have a little bit of brown on there. But this can sort of get me, it's sort of the start of, gives you a good tone to start building some corrosion from as well. So there are a couple of areas around the armor where there is pitting. I'm going to bring that up a little bit closer to the camera. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, we can see in this area here, there are a couple of little sort of pits here where the armor is corroded. So around the back here, and then on this side, you can start to see that there. So those are places that would come back to and start to build the texture up around them. So as I said earlier, this gunmetal paint from the Army Painter is can give a very smooth sort of appearance. But we just want to texture that up a little bit. Using, and bring that a little bit closer as well. If we can get that chainmail just in there, yep. So we can see the chainmail, which is perfect for putting this kind of this color of wash over. You'll notice that that the wash is splashing over a little bit onto the white areas there. I'm not too worried about that, because I'm going to come back and paint those, probably paint those last. But I want to go with a classic sort of deep red kind of look for these the robes on this Black Knight. But this is quite cool. It's got a little bit of it's got some great detail on the back of on the back plate there. It's easy to pull out with a wash like this.
All of the body plates, the little pieces, they all had different detail. It was pretty cool.
Right, yeah. Everybody in each of the models in the kit. So I think there are 5. Yep,
yes.
5 knights. So they, yeah, as Luna said, they each have their own kind of detailing on their breastplates and the back plates and pauldrons and that kind of thing. So you can have that. That gives you sort of a variety in the miniatures, and then when you apply sort of a more uniform paint scheme to them, it pulls them all together. So there we go. So at this stage, it's just sort of putting that simple wash over it. It started to dry in a lot of areas, but we can just let it dry a little bit longer. Around this area here, it hasn't pooled much, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to it while the rest here is drying, because this is going to end up in sort of a shadowed area anyway. So I want to make sure we accentuate that.
Trying to swiftly yet carefully pull all those little highlights that I want.
Yep.
It's coming along.
Yeah. Let's show that under the color schema here.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh. I'm just gonna, so that I don't knock them over. There we go. Ah.
Get that white going.
I think like this one here with the two arms, like the two hands outstretched, is kind of like, are you not entertained? Come and give me a hug. Don't be afraid.
Please. He
think
just
it's
wants
awesome.
a hug. He's friendly.
Yeah. This guy with the knife, I'm not so sure.
I have a knife sometimes.
That is
That doesn't mean I'm
scary.
not friendly.
Scary face. Oh. But yeah, look, looking very cool. Yeah, I think that's the highlighting you're doing up there is giving that great wispy feel.
Slowly but surely, with lots of patience.
Nice one. Yeah.
That's been the kicker for this whole process.
Patience. Or
Patience.
slowly but surely.
Both. Yeah, I think I might go back with a little bit touch of a slightly darker blue for just those deep shadowy bits. Like,
Right. Yep.
Just to pick them out, and I'll water it down so I don't completely mess up everything.
I think painting the highlights, so rather than going and putting those shadows in first and then coming back and doing the highlights, I think doing the highlights first is a great idea, because then you're not working double
Yeah.
kind of against the
Well,
shadows.
I think too, in this case, it also lets me know what I'm working with beforehand,
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
rather than just being like, yeah, of course it'll work out. It'll be fine. I see it in my brain. And then it not matching up.
Not matching your brain.
That
Well, and I
happens
feel
sometimes.
like when you have the highlights, you know your highest
Yeah.
color,
Yep.
so you won't go too dark with your shadows now. Or you will go very dark because you know how high.
Especially
exactly.
for
The light
something wispy. If it was a different texture, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. But for this,
Yeah.
like maybe we should be careful and have our thinking caps on.
How dare you?
How dare I imply a thinking cap?
Well, it just seems to be going against your whimsy.
It's still whimsical. They're blue.
That's true.
I
So-
mean, we do have, I have glitter paints somewhere. They're
yeah,
back there.
I put them off to the side. I'm
Hannah
sorry,
was like,
Gretchen.
no glitter for Gretchen. She has
Well,
to
I-
rely on skill. Paint the glitter.
I thought that, like, for ghosts, we shouldn't put glitter on it.
You're
I'm sorry.
110% probably correct.
Ghost lore would suggest.
If enough people in the chat say glitter, I will bring them out for you.
It was only up until Dave said I didn't have whimsy.
Well, no, it was just. It seems strange to me that you weren't just sort of settling into the moment. But
But Gretchen, if you can get enough people in the chat to comment glitter, if you keep, campaigning for
If I
that,
campaign for glitter.
we will make it happen.
All right, chat. Well, you heard Leona. If we campaign for glitter,
Glitter will
am I allowed to
arrive.
campaign against glitter?
Yes, you are.
all right, then
Okay.
it's just become chat battle.
No
Yes.
glitter.
Hashtag glitter, hashtag no glitter. Fight it out, chat.
Yep.
Our newfound Twitch friends, if they're still there.
I don't think a ghost in Warhammer Age of Sigmar will have glitter. Just saying.
I agree.
Dave's like,
I think I
I'm
would.
the only one here who plays that game. I'm taking these home. Like,
I would
Oh, Walter said a glitter haunt.
a glitter
Like
haunt. Yeah,
A night haunt. Yeah, that's good.
it's much better than night glitter.
they were at a party.
Yes.
Maybe they died at a party. You don't know their life. You don't know their story.
This is true. I have not stopped to ask them. And I don't feel bad about that. So basically, yeah, for these ones, I'm doing the same thing that Gretchen's been working on, which is just highlighting with a mix of the base color, which for me was HexWraith Flame, and mixing in some white. I'm using some of the white from Vallejo Model Color.
Kat has an important question, Dave.
Oh, yep. Oh, the Adepticon at the end of the month. Do you have a special snack order?
You get snacks?
So Mel, the terrain tutor, when he's working on his videos, he has a tendency to forget the names of the materials that he's using, or the tools that he's using, or the techniques, and they tend to end up being called whatchamacallits or whatchamacallits, which also happen to be a candy bar. So last year, when Mel came over to Adepticon for the first time, Kat sent a care package of whatchamacallits, and we ate those during the show, which is very cool. Thank you very much for that, Kat. This year, as well as Mel coming over for Adepticon, our friend Jace is coming over too, which is going to be really exciting. And yeah, so I wonder, what did Jace pick, Kat? What are you sending Jace? Because I got to admit, I think mine would just be like, how many nights am I there? A Twix bar for every night. Or a Snickers. Something simple. But yeah. Major request for more oats and protein bars and good stuff. It's true. Mel has been on a sort of kick to improve his health, which is good. Cutting back on the cigarettes and the crappy food.
That's always good.
Which is good. Definitely good.
On Facebook, Sarah says glitter. Also howdy.
Howdy, Sarah.
Howdy,
Jeff
Sarah.
says gold glitter green. And Thomas asks, is there glitter in the grim dark?
Yes.
Yep. I think it's
Grim glitter.
I think it's the thing. It looks like stars in the background, but it's actually just randomly strewn glitter. But yeah, it's how that we know that it's grim dark, because it's juxtaposed brilliantly with the glitter.
Also, Kat says Twix and Snickers. I can make that happen.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kat. I appreciate it.
But Kat, you forgot his favorite snack, paint.
The favorite snack, paint? Yeah. I'll be eating plenty of that during the show. Yeah. I have a very busy schedule at Adepticon, but yeah. Yep. I got, so as mentioned, yeah, running a game set on a cemetery world. It's the first time that I've run a game for about 18 years, 19 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, or at least it's sort of a game with story
That makes
elements,
me feel
significant story elements
so
to
much
it.
better about myself having never run a game.
Okay. Yeah, this is it's going to be a sort of crazy thing. So I'm going to be sort of stressing about that a lot. But that's on the Thursday and Friday mornings. Once I finish that, I'm going to be very happy. And I believe I've booked in the entire afternoon of Friday at the bar.
That
To
just
relax.
happens.
But yeah, I'm going to be spending a bunch of time helping out my buddy Damon at the hobby seminar area. I'll be checking out, having a good run through the vendor hall, the booths in the vendor hall. Checking out all sorts of cool stuff there. My friend John at Mini Masterworks has got a Kickstarter that's launching the week before Adepticon for a very cool hobby product.
Is that the thing we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, that was the thing I was showing you before.
You're better at spoilers than I am.
Right. Yes. No, it's going to be very cool. I'm very excited about this this particular one. It's perfect for folks like us
It's very good for conventions.
who travel around. It's great for conventions. It's great for me, rather than bringing like Kat's least favorite thing, the container of paints, and my dodgy cardboard box that I carry my brushes and wet palette in. It's kind of like a mobile painting studio thing, which will make coming up here every Thursday so much simpler. It's going to be great. I'm very excited to see that rolling. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to show just quickly here under the close cam is for these spirits. I've gone through and done some highlighting there on the green, so mixed white in with the HexWraith flame. And even though on the palette here it looks quite pale, just there, I'm close. It's still, you can definitely see where it's been highlighted, but it's not as bright as white. And when I compare it to these, you'll notice that the faces on this one, or the face on this one, not the faces. It's scary, but it's not this scary. It's only one ghost scary, but a lot lighter. So what I did with that was just basically went through and did the highlighting again in certain areas with pure white. But so that'll help those faces stand out a little bit, like Dave's did on his what do you call it? My mind's gone blank. Spirit host that we showed earlier. Now I can put that aside and come back to this.
Were there enough votes?
There are enough votes. Leona
I
just come in.
can't see Facebook, so we're in.
Leona's come in and delivered the
Exasperated sigh.
the glitter paints.
Yep.
The Vallejo shifters.
Those will be last, though.
Nice. Excellent. So what I was going to point out here is the so on the armor plates, we can still see that you've got that metallic sheen there, but the wash has started to dull it back a little bit. And we're getting some shading and some depth in there. So if we go through and do the same thing this time around, I'm not going to use as much of the Agrax Earth shade. And just go predominantly with the Nuln Oil. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of the Vallejo Black, watercolor black, put a dab of that on my palette. And then take some water, a little bit of that, mix it in with the wash. So what that does is just adds an extra dose of pigment into it. And because it didn't use any sort of medium to hold it together, and I'm just thinning it down with some water as well, that pigment will sort of break up and won't hold together as well as, say, if I was using one of the contrast paints. And I wanted to do that so that I get some irregularity over the surface of the metal as I'm putting the shade on. Because I want to start to get that sort of deeper texture kind of feel. I'm a little bit worried now. Gretchen has that grin on her face that means something crazy is about to happen.
No, I just wanted to see. I was reading. Kat says both of your minis have a very ethereal look. Cool, and I was like, oh, compliment. And then I was looking on Facebook. I was refreshing it so I could
can see what people
read things. like Dave Shrump saying, "Thanks for the shout out, Dave. I'm working on a couple alternate schemes for Spirit Hosts this week. We'll post them when I finish."
Oh, awesome.
And Sarah asking, "What colors did you use, Dave?"
Oh, for the...
I think that's for the
Oh, for Dave's.
the
Dave
spirit
Shrimp.
host.
Oh, I'm like, I'm going up and then I'm going down. I'm like, oh, Facebook. I'm sorry. No, because that was.
I believe
Oh no,
it
it
was-
might have been. Yeah.
I believe it was for your spirit host,
Can't keep track.
Dave.
Oh, for my spirit host?
Correct.
So it should totally be for Dave's spirit host. So,
Yes, Dave. Tell
Dave
us your
Shrump's.
color.
be
Tell
Dave
us
Shrump's.
your color, Speen.
Okay, the colors. These ones here, I'm using HexWraith Flame. Oh dear, I just knocked over the bottle of HexWraith Flame. Thankfully, the lid was on. HexWraith Flame from Citadel.
Maybe it's haunted. Maybe it wasn't me at all.
Maybe.
As I knock over the glitter.
Possibly. So yeah, HexWraith Flame. I thinned it down to start with a little bit of the technical contrast medium, and then mixed in some of the Vallejo Monocolor White for the highlights on those guys. For the skeletons, I used Skeleton Horde contrast paint as the base. It's one of those things where if I wanted to get gaming with this quickly, then I sort of just can finish off the base and get sort of stuck in. But if I want to then come back to it later on, I can come back and highlight the skeleton, highlight the skull and the rib cage and all that sort
I'm
of stuff.
not going to spend any time on those guys. I'm going to slap some contrast on those guys today and call it a day. Because I've been working too hard
Yeah.
on my ethereal ghost-like figures, just blending and blending.
Even though it's got a lot of wispy bits, I guess, everything has a very smooth texture. So it really just begs to have that a lot of time lavished on it.
It does, and I want it to have that smooth. I want it to look like it might have been airbrushed, which I don't think I've ever truly accomplished.
Okay, radio.
But I'm like, I want this to be pretty. So we'll see.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, I'm going to bring this up a bit closer to the camera as well. Turn that around, so we can start to see the. Yeah, let's get some light onto it. There we go. Huh? No, I think it's good. You can start to see on the armor plates here and here that we're getting that depth of shading. So just hitting it with a little bit more of the Nuln Oil in those areas. If you wanted to go for something really dark, when I mentioned cast iron skillet, obviously cast iron skillet is very dark. You can just keep adding more of the sort of black paint into that, and you'll start to get that. Start to see that. Still a little bit of silver showing through, which is cool. And if I'm dabbing around like this, dabbing the brush around in the paint, not dabbing, I get a little bit of extra texture and depth as well. So it's starting to look quite spooky.
I need to start wearing my glasses whenever
Yeah.
I come in. I'm like, I can hit the mark.
You should totally do that. Totally.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting those darker highlights. It'll be good.
Be all fine. Okay. And the next step now is on some of the areas where I've gone over onto the barding. Originally, I was thinking I was going to use some Vallejo Burnt Red as the base coat for it, and then I realized I haven't got a lot of time. We've only got 40 minutes left. So I'm hitting some of these areas with some of the Wraithbone base paint from Citadel, just to get rid of some of those sort of overbrushes with the wash. So you can see those, just tidying those up a little bit. Thankfully, it's an undead knight that's all kinds of rusted and torn up. So if you do end up with a little bit of that black wash showing through, it's not the end of the world. And the reason as well that I'm using the Wraithbone here rather than white over this white undercoat is so that, let me get a closer look there. We're going to have some variation with that'll show through with the, I'm going to use the Flesh Terrors red contrast paint to get that deep red. But yeah, having a little bit of variation under there will again sell that sort of dirty, disheveled, risen from the grave kind of look. Just running around getting those quickly. I think it might be time
For more minis?
to have a look at the second set of minis for the show.
Love it. Let's do it. I feel like we should have like something to yodel Leona, like, except right now the only thing I can think of is Let It Rip, which is definitely Beyblades.
It's definitely what?
Beyblades?
Beyblades? Okay.
It's okay, Dave.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, okay. Oh, the flight stand for the Ravenwing one is complete. That's cool. Yeah, Jeff posted, I'm not sure if you have a picture of it. No. I think he might have got it in on time, but he painted he's been painting up some Dark Eldar.
Ooh.
And did a fantastic job on...
we saw his Dark Eldar last week, so that's why I thought this week
Okay.
I would showcase.
No,
the
that's fine.
base.
That's fine. But the plane that he put up was spectacular. Looked beautiful. But yeah, so this is the flight stand that he's working on for it, and he's got those lovely flowers going on.
That's very springy.
A nice little bit of spring whimsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good. And I'm curious about that textured paste that you've used on there, Jeff. That's looking very cool. Got a nice muddy feel. But yeah, looking good. Good. Oh, Chris painted up Noreth Skyblade Elf. If it wasn't the pointy ears, it was the haughty expression that gave it away.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks great. I love that. I love the choice of that green for the. Oh, obviously, we're using very similar greens at the moment, but I love that the green on that jacket. It's looking very cool. Nice work, Chris. Looking good. Oh, David Hopkins painting up some of his Zombicide minis.
David Hopkins is a new member.
New
by
member.
the way.
Yeah.
Congrats for joining us.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Looking cool. So I'm guessing this is Zombicide Black Plague. And we all know that that come on like to mess around with pop culture references, that kind of thing. The guy on the right there is Thrud the Barbarian. Or at least it's their take on Thrud the Barbarian from Dragon Magazine and several other magazines from back in the day. Yeah. So fantastic. I think it was I'm going to say Stephen Critchlow. I think was the artist for Thrud, but Thrud was a fantastic, like over the top barbarian. As you can see by the tiny head and the enormous muscles, and the gloriously large axe. But yeah, looking great, David. You've done them great. Carl, hey Carl. Carl said he hadn't posted for a while, but hasn't been painting for a while. But he did a beautiful job on this genie.
Oh, I love how the smoke turns into like the dress.
Yeah.
And it just blends from that poofy kind of shading seamlessly into the fabric shading.
Yep, that's a great job there, Carl. Yeah, that sort of the texture on the fabric there, and the work up looks very nice. And I like the connection as well between the sort of her jewelry and the
lamp.
the work on the bodices and the lamp. Yeah,
It just bleep, like a little.
yeah, it's a great connection. It was just that little bleep.
The onomatopoeia was the only way to truly
Sure. Yeah.
express.
I get it.
Also, she's armed. She has a weapon in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I've
Oh,
never
yeah,
seen
you-
an armed
It's like
genie.
it looks like a big sword.
Yep. It looks like a classic scimitar. It
Yeah.
does look awesome. Nice work, Carl. Oh, Fabrice has been painting up some Dragonborn. Were these from Hero Forge? I'm not sure,
I am not sure. He did not say.
because that shield kind of looks familiar, but these are looking cool. And you were talking about uniform colors before. So the choices that Fabrice has made here, I mean, individually they could all both work perfectly fine as individuals, but they look like they're part of a team, a clan, a group, a guild,
They match.
a regiment.
Twinsies.
They are indeed twinsies, without actually being twins.
Well, yes.
But no, they look fantastic. I love the that red, the black, the silver and gold. Nice, good work, Fabrice. Oh my goodness,
Ooh.
this is gonna be fantastic, Joel. It's looking great. Working on the
That
coat
is
this
some
week.
beautiful work on that, like leather texture.
Yeah, just right in the point where the belt comes across there. Is looking fantastic, and yes, there's some beautiful subtle work. That is a big model. That's going to be 90mm, 120mm scale. But yeah, looking fantastic, Joel. Nice one. Good work. Josh, Caleb Widogast from Critical Role. Cool. That's looking great. I'm loving that, again, talking about the color wheel contrast. Just the way that the blue and the orange work well. And also, there's particularly up around the collar on that blue scarf, it looks like it's got some purple in it, which is working well against that almost the mustard color in the coat. The outside of the coat. But yeah, nice one, Josh. Looking great. Oh, Sean. Sean is a recent addition to the group. Has been working on his Adeptus Mechanicus kill team for 40K's kill team.
Oh, what's that like? Almost like mint color. That's just peeking through all the weapons.
It's a great accent color, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So it's got I think it's used it for all that sort of power, glowy radiation kind of thing. The weapon on the left is an arc rifle at the front, and I think the one on the right is a plasma gun. Right at the screen, but the ones in the middle, those two guys are carrying radium carbines, so they fire radioactive rounds.
That sucks.
So
that would be
that
not
glow,
good to get hit on.
Yeah, that glow is a radioactive glow. Yeah. So basically, these warriors, they're all drugged up and they just absorb terrible amounts of radiation, and it means that when you get into combat against them, face to face, that radiation is pushed back out at you, and you don't do so well in your fighting because you're starting to throw up and have your hair fall out and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, these look great, Sean. Nice work. Oh, Jason has been working on the Tarask. This thing is huge.
I love it.
Insanely vicious. Yeah.
We had seen just his 3D print of this.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think
we
about
did just see
2
the print.
weeks ago.
But yeah, I think
So this
the
is
color
the
scheme looks
finished.
great. I think you've done a great job on that, Jason. Nice work. The shading on, particularly around the, I guess the muscles around the neck and the down onto the chest are looking great. And I just love that eye as well. I'm hoping the one on the other side looks as cool. Super intense. But yeah, nice work. Oh, Jan is kind of a Star Wars Legion miniature. I wonder if this is a. I don't think that's one of the original heads. I wonder if that's a third-party head. I could be wrong. It definitely has a fantastic alien feel.
I'm pretty sure this is Star Wars Legion.
You sure it's Star Wars Legion? It's an actual head?
I'm not 100%.
Man, I wonder.
So, it could be a different head and a Star Wars Legion body.
Yeah. I think so. But
She painted
no, it looks
this for her friend. So.
right. It does look very cool. It's great. I love the purple skin. It's kind of got that intensity against the sort of desaturated greens and browns.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nice work. That was great. Very cool. So yes,
That's it
all of
for
those
now.
photos were from our Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook group. Please feel free to join us in that group. Hit join, and then somebody will let you in.
It's just that easy.
It is. It's just that easy. I think there's a question. There's one question to answer.
I
Pretty
feel
sure.
like it's something super easy. Like, do you like minis?
No, it's will you abide by the rules, or do
That's-
you agree? Do you agree to abide by the rules?
Yeah,
Yes.
because
So-
we talked about putting rules up, so now
Yeah.
they're there.
So now we have rules. But yeah, so that is very cool. Thank you very much for everybody who has posted their minis over the past week. Next Wednesday, Leona will be grabbing the next sets for us to show on Thursday and talk about.
Apparently, Michael Harris is confirming those Dragonborn.
Yep.
They are Arkin the Cruel. Those two red Dragonborn are both Arkin the Cruel. The
Oh, they're
left
both?
one is before, and the right one is after he gets the hand of Vecna. Excuse me.
Oh, wow.
So it's like part of a story.
I can't remember exactly what the Hand of Vecna does, but I know that it's super powerful. Yeah. That's kind of scary. I'm worried. Oh. Cool. Excellent. Thanks for that. For the information.
So that's why they had the same paints.
That's why. Oh, the same scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think you could still run them as two guards of a higher level Dragonborn.
I think so too.
And that could work. Okay.
Oh, right. So that's that.
Oh, cool.
Super
Awesome.
dark.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to finish up the last guy.
Yeah.
Then I'm actually going to paint the rest.
Nice. Get in there and paint the
So,
base.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can kind of see, you can tell that there's blue going on.
Yeah, definitely.
You can see it on the hands.
Yeah, so their hands are very dark. I kind of liked the idea of the hands looking a little bit more less ethereal and more like they could actually
Right, okay.
attack you.
Yeah. That is a tough part, isn't it? Because you want to highlight them by mixing in white.
A little
Highlight
bit.
the hands.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They have some highlights because contrast paints.
Yep.
Because I did do that first, so they're not completely.
Well, it's interesting also with the blue because it reminds me of being cold.
Yes.
Yep.
The blue hands, the dark blue on the hands. So it's like they're cold.
All right, yep.
Yeah, not
Ghosts.
only will you be gotten by scary ghosts with knives, you'll also get frostbite. It's fun. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool.
Also, Sarah had previously asked about a giveaway. We do not have a giveaway.
Yes,
this
we don't have a giveaway today.
episode, but we will next week.
Next week we'll have one. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, next week, what are we doing next week?
Do you
Oh, we
wanna
have
save that for
Power
the end?
Rangers.
Yes.
Oh, Heroes of the Grid.
Yes.
Is the song, are the songs no longer copyright for that? Do we get to have soundtrack?
Oh,
It's been many years, Leona.
I'll check it out.
We might be able to play some of the.
Some of the Power Rangers soundtrack. Awesome.
I just want the guitar riff.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
I was a huge Power Rangers fan when I was a child.
Excellent.
Fun fact.
When I was younger, not a child, but when I was younger, one of my friends, his sister was worked in wardrobe on the Power Rangers
That's
show.
super
No, seriously,
cool. That's
because it was.
really cool.
And I'm not sure which one of the Power Rangers shows, because
There's a lot.
I'm led to
Yep.
believe there are a bunch of them. But it was filmed in Queensland, in Australia, and he managed to get a hold of a pair of Chuck Taylors that were worn by the Pink Power Ranger, I think. So he had a pair of pink Chucks, and yeah, it was neat. So I mentioned that I was going to use a deep red for the cloth barding on the horse, and I'm using Flesh Terror's red contrast paint to get this on sort of nice and quick. The tough part, of course, is that the barding has two sides. Cloth barding has two sides. So the outside that you get to see, and I get to paint very easily. But then there's also let me see if we can get under the camera in the right angle. There's the inside of the barding, which is tough to get to. So we'll see how we go tackling that. Fingers crossed it'll work. But I like this very sort of rich red, and this is also a great one to work on like fabric texture. A couple of weeks ago when we did the Targaryens, and worked on that little sort of cross hatching technique for the
For the fur?
for
the horse
yeah,
fur?
the horse fur. You could use something similar on this for the texture of the barding, texture of the cloth, which would be neat. Okay, wish me luck. I'm going in. I'm going to. Sorry, Kat, but I'm going to take it off the miniature holder for a sec. So I'm going to hold it by the top of the mini, and that way. I wonder if you might be able to see me doing it in here, but I'll be able to get right in underneath there. It's one of those ones where you might look at it and go, well, nobody's going to see it. And I've long learned that although people playing with the miniature might not see it, as soon as it goes on this spinner here, it's going to become incredibly obvious to everybody watching. So I will at least try and get to it. Then it'll only be lots of little tiny places where it shows up. But yeah, you just take your time. Don't rush. Don't give yourself only 2 hours to finish some miniatures. There we go. But, oh, there we go. One thing I was going to say, we've got a lot of, there's a lot of stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks, event-wise. There's
True.
I mentioned Adepticon already. That same weekend is GaryCon in Wisconsin. So if you're into your role playing, there'll be a bunch of information no doubt coming out at GaryCon. And next week is the Gamma Retailers Summit out in Reno, Nevada, where retailers and distributors get together and talk about products that are coming up over the next, retailers, manufacturers, and distributors can talk about products coming up over the next year, and they can get previews and check out all sorts of cool stuff.
All right, now I need that
That's
skeleton
neat.
bones so I can let this
Okay.
dry before I add glitter, since the chat says
It says glitter. Go for the glitter. There it is. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what sort of comes out of those conversations. What people have to show. What cool stuff will be appearing in your friendly local game stores over the next 12 months or so. Okay, how do people
bye, Jeff.
feel about that? Oh, who's going?
Jeff had to leave.
Bye, Jeff. So there are moments there where it looks like, oh, I've missed a big spot on there, and I rotate it, and it's like, no, it's just the hole. So I think I might hit the banner up here. That with the red. This banner looks like it was originally some sort of human kingdom. It's got nice sort of fringing. It has a couple of crown sort of details. And as I was saying that, of course, I was like, well, of course the skeleton is human-sized, so...
He was maybe once human.
He was maybe once human. I think he might have been. He doesn't have a tail sticking out the back of the saddle, so...
Fair.
That leads me to believe. But yeah, so I'm going to paint over the banner with this Flesh Tearers red. And have that as a good starting point for painting the rest of it, painting the little details on.
His
How's it coming along?
slapping some skull color, skeleton horde color on the skeleton.
Cool.
Then I'll probably highlight it real quick while I'm waiting for everything else to dry. And then go through and just quickly paint the other things on the base. I don't want them to be the primary focus.
Right.
I want all of that effort I went into making everything else look spooky
Yeah.
to be the main focus.
Main focus,
So
right. Okay.
I'll
That's cool.
probably just keep it simple. At 20 minutes.
Got 20 minutes? We can do it. Or 17 minutes. 17 minutes. We can't go over like we did last week. But that should be fine. So I think, actually, is Kat still in the... Hopefully Kat's still in the group. So I just remembered that Kat had started painting her own minis. How are they looking, Kat? I haven't seen you post any in the group yet, so... We need to see them. There we go. Okay. Oh, and that's the other thing we've got to work out. Do we know if we have somebody to take my place on the 26th of March yet?
I was not
It's not
told.
confirmed.
Not confirmed yet?
No.
Okay. But yes, hopefully we'll have somebody in to...
I know that you're not going to be here, so
okay.
don't worry.
Radio. There we go.
We'll miss you.
Wait, you'll be throwing things at me, and because I won't be here, they'll pass straight through the space?
Yes.
That? Okay. Radio. I will miss being here, but I will also really enjoy Adepticon.
I imagine.
And I'm going to say I'm glad that that was not on my camera at that point. Well, it's just getting worse.
Did you get green everywhere?
No. No, I did not.
And it's fine.
Because I didn't have my model on a miniature holder, it fell over into some white paint. So now I just have to do a little bit of correction. That's okay. These things happen. As long as I get to it before the white paint dries, we'll be okay.
That's the toughest bit with me, is
Yeah.
with watercolor, I can usually just immediately sop something up and it's fine.
Right.
The acrylics,
Not so
that
much.
is not the same story. Acrylics race.
Yeah.
And I lose that race all the time.
Okay, I'm just going to test this one. Oh, yes, this is what I want. Okay. Now for the robes here on the, oh, of course, as I pick it up, I spotted an area that I hadn't cut before. Just in there. Radio. For the robes on the Black Knight himself, I thought I didn't want to go with the red. I wanted to do something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use a contrast paint called Acalian Green, which is here, and
Looks
you see
very
it,
blue.
it does look pretty blue, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Which is funny because Leviathan blue looks kind of green. So we're just going to use whatever's on the. We're going to talk about the name that's on the bottle, but yeah, this one. It's going to give quite a nice sort of bright looking blue initially. There we go. And then I'll give it a second coat. That will be, rather than going over the whole thing with a second coat in exactly the same spot, I'll start it up around the top here, so it's darker next to the chainmail and then becomes lighter as it goes down. So it's going to follow sort of a lot of the similarities on the, it's going to echo the style of the Nighthaunts on the box. So but again, using contrast paints here because it's nice and quick to get them done. And I know
So
that
for your color scheme, Dave, you're actually using four
Pardon?
colors? 4 colors?
Using
Or
3
does
or
that
4
blue,
colors.
Or does that blue count as the mid?
Yeah, it's really four. At the moment, it's 4 colors. There are
Okay.
other colors that I would put in there, but there are definitely has a dark tone, a light tone, and a mid tone.
So the blue and the red would be the mid?
At the moment, the blue and the red look very similar, tonally. What I'd be hoping to have when I finish is that the blue would be much closer to the armor
Gotcha.
in its kind of tone, and that the red would be a little bit lighter. I might have to go. I'll go in and do some highlighting on the red to lift that up a little bit, so you get to see what I'm thinking there. But it's just thinking, actually going back to Kat's question about when other times when I go off color scheme, or just sort of go wild and crazy and make it up as I go along. That's what I'm doing right now.
Wild and crazy Dave.
Wild and crazy.
Wild and Crazy Dave. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So there we go.
I just knock everything. I'm
Maybe we can take
in
that. We can get rid of it now.
Yeah, I only put that there because I wanted you to show the box at the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's all cool. All good. Okay. I think this is where I start to look and start to mess around with those different ideas. We have 10 minutes left, so it's going to be a little bit of a race, like
Not
it
for
always
me.
is. No, you're almost done?
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Gretchen.
Oh no, I just lost the cap. No, I didn't.
Cool. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have messed around with these spirit hosts. I should just let them be. Let me just muck around with the... So at the moment, the skeleton horde over the white was looking a little bit kind of mid-tone-ish. So I'm just grabbing some Vallejo ivory here to quickly highlight some of these edges. Something that's a little bit odd here, sort of based on our conversation about horses and colors of hooves and based on socks and all that sort of stuff. With so this horse is dead, obviously,
Yes.
but sort of its hooves are still its hooves. So if I paint them bone, does that mean that it was a white horse, or a palomino, or something like that, or it had white socks?
I mean,
or
they still have because that's their hooves. The outside that you see are made of fingernail-like material.
right, which would still be. They'd still have that sort of showing.
Yeah.
So
they wouldn't be bone technically then.
Yeah.
They'd still be the same material.
So by painting them bone, I'm doing the wrong thing. Is what I'm saying. So it's kind of it's an odd one.
I mean, they still have bones in there.
Yeah.
So it just means it's fully decomposed. I guess.
Yeah. Or it wouldn't be fully decomposed. Yeah. But it's a good thing it's all fantasy. And that there aren't
Well,
not
it
really
is
anything such
fantasy.
things as skeletal horses. Regardless of how much we'd want it to be.
You wouldn't want a pet skeleton horse?
Hmm?
Said you wouldn't want a pet skeleton
Oh no,
horse?
I said we would want it to be that. Yeah.
It seemed uncomfortable to ride.
Probably. This guy seems to be managing it.
He also is bony, though.
He has a bony butt.
And he has a really nice saddle.
Yeah, see, there you go. It's the saddle. It's the saddle that's doing it. It's all in the saddle. Okay. So yeah, this using this ivory to pick out these bones on the knight himself and the horse, and making me feel a lot better about that sort of mix of tones. Oh, and I've just realized what this is sitting over here. This is his shield. Sorry, we haven't. So, you only left off the
I
shield.
forgot to put the
I was going to say, I thought maybe you left it off so it was easier to get into these areas
well, and that's
here.
true, actually. I left it off because I thought it would be very difficult to paint most of his body.
Yep. And you're absolutely correct. It would have been. So, good work, you.
Because the other guy, or actually a different guy I was building, I put the shield on, was like, it's going to be hard to put a paintbrush.
Yep. Definitely more difficult, but also maybe I could have ignored some parts. It's a tough decision. Tough decision. Okay. So I mentioned coming back and doing the darker blue again. or doing a second layer of the contrast Acalian green. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, a little bit darker. I'm actually going to pop a little bit of black in there, like we did with the wash over the armor. So darken that up a little bit more. And if I bring that down towards the bottom of the you can see how that's starting to move into that kind of tonal range. What I can do as well for this chainmail that's right along the edge is I can put some very bright silver highlights on that to get some good tonal contrast along that edge.
All right.
All right.
Chat asked for glitter.
Chat asked for glitter. Where are you going to put the glitter?
It will be. I feel like kind of turning it maybe into a little bit of a wash
Okay.
for the specters, so they're all extra ethereal, and it's not glitter, but it's like
a pearlescence?
yes.
Okay, radio. That could be good.
So we got green, gold, cold blue, and turquoise violet. I'm going to go with the green, gold, blue.
That sounds like a good idea.
And we're going to see what happens.
Experimental.
Because these are shifters, so they're not like super glitter.
No. Okay. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how they turn out. Okay, just looking at the, here I've gone through and done the shading on the other side there as well. And I just realized around the armor on the front of the metal barding, around his neck there's a lot of area that is actually where the cloth barding will be sitting. So I need to go and paint that quickly. I'm going to run out of time. Boo.
We still love you.
Boo. I think next time maybe we just look at one lot of photos. Just kidding. Just kidding. Seeing everybody's work is absolutely
time.
great.
Next time you just don't paint the spirit host.
Just don't paint the spirit host next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a good rule of thumb. Don't
Okay.
paint the spirit host.
Right. Okay, next week I'll concentrate on just one miniature. Who believes me?
No one.
No one believes me. That's a fair call. Radio.
2 minutes.
It's a little bit tough to get in there and be super clean, so I'm going to need to tidy up the edges of the metal barding here. So I'm going to do that by mixing in a little bit of black with the silver to get that dark sort of look there. Run that around the edges and squeeze out a little bit more black. Where to put that? There it is. And when we're talking about color schemes and that sort of thing, there are elements that don't really factor into the scheme itself or the choice of the colors, so that you can have a lot of neutrals in there. In this case, the black that I'm painting on the haft of the lance is going to fit into that category. It's going to be a neutral. But it's a dark tone, so it's going to work alongside the dark blue-green and the armor. That's the role that it plays on the model. When we were talking about the HexWraiths before, in the GW picture, the brown haft of the scythe was fitting into the I think that was fitting into the light category. but yeah, you can definitely use those neutrals, so browns, greys, that sort of thing to help balance your
This is not the black
tones.
I wanna use. So this is not the black I want to use. What I really want to use is the actual.
Oh, the
like,
contrast black.
opaque.
Oh, okay. Do you need some? Or-
No, I have some.
Okay, cool.
Thankfully, Vallejo has provided us with paints, so I don't have to
All the
steal them
paints.
from you all the time.
That's cool. It is
Dave,
funny sometimes.
Are you taking all these minis to Chicago?
Pardon? Am I
That's from Byron.
Am I asking if I'm taking these minis to Chicago?
I
Yeah.
might take mine home. I kind of like it now.
I'm not taking these ones. There are some I showed earlier that I'll be taking, but no, these ones will probably be staying here. And I am going to leave it at... No, I'm not going to leave it at that. I can't just leave it at that. I want to
Let's put them on the spinner.
put them on the
Bolts.
spinner. I know. One last little bit.
I'm almost there, Leona.
Almost there.
I'll have a whole complete one. Again.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
It does make me smile, though.
That I have a complete one.
Yeah,
I'm getting faster.
you are. And it is awesome. So, very cool. Almost done.
Victory lap.
Basically, I'm just noticing that there are various pieces that shouldn't be bright white. And look at you, victory lap and all.
I know.
Terrible. Okay. Take my spirit hosts off. There we go. Let's move to the spinner.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this first.
And that has the glitter on it.
It does.
I toned it down a little bit with this. It's the shifter paint, so it's not like pure glitter. It's more pearlescent, which I think adds to the spooky. It's not so dramatic that it takes over
No.
the paint job. And I did water it down a little bit for that.
Yeah.
But
No, I think it works really well.
yeah, they definitely look cold.
Yeah, yeah. And in this one, that obviously the base is black, is your very dark tone, and then you've got that mid-tone of the skeleton that the spirits are coming out of, and then the spirits themselves are the light tone. But yeah, they're looking very, very dangerous.
Yeah, that
and
looks
I think
great.
I really do like, now that it's spinning and the shifters are
pearl.
on there, how
Yeah.
they, when the light hits it during those blended moments, it
Yep.
kind of adds an extra layer to the blending.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not perfect at that, it kind of hit it.
No, I think it does. You're right. It does a great job of pulling it all together.
No.
I love that. That's my favorite bit.
Yeah.
As it gets to that point, and you see those two faces in profile, screaming forward.
I also like how the shifters make them look almost wet when,
Right.
and like, I don't know, scary, ethereal, and then the plain matte skeleton
Yep.
that you know is definitely not on the same page.
Yeah. Same thing that they're a little bit more sort of strange, sort of Ghostbusters plasma-ish kind of.
I guess
He
so.
slimed me. That kind of thing. Okay. And there we go with the Black Knight. Apologies for not getting the base finish. So many more things I should have done on that.
Because
But
they kind of do match still with the blue in yours. Kind of plays off the.
yeah, it does.
And I do have some of the red in the roses, but it's a lot less picked out because of the quickness of
Right. Yep. It is an interesting thing as well with those when we're working with those color schemes is or working out your color schemes is when you might look at something and go, okay, well this is definitely a light tone, this is definitely a dark tone, this is definitely a mid tone. When you put them together, they're going to end up looking different. So always feel free to experiment with what you want. So you might want to have a red, but maybe a deeper red is going to be a better option, or a brighter red is going to be a better option. Yeah, always be ready to mess around with it all. Cool. So there we go.
Ta-da.
So we have a Black Knight and a Spirit Host from Games Workshop's Warhammer Age of Sigmar range.
And I didn't spill your green.
You didn't. Look at that. It's still.
I did. I do remember. Never mind. I was going to say, I did forget what I said I was going to remind you to do at the end of the show.
Right.
But I just remembered, don't forget your ghosts.
Don't forget my ghosts. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I'll get those out of the ghost corral. Awesome. But yes. Cool.
Well, we did it. We've completed them.
Hooray.
Second show in a row, I've gotten to an entire base as well.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I grow stronger.
You do. You do.
Every day.
Every
you grow
day. And this is the second
stronger.
show in a row I haven't painted a base. You're draining my power.
Next, I'll start licking paintbrushes.
Licking paintbrushes.
Yeah. Oh no.
And I'll start knowing things about pop culture.
Yeah. That's.
It's going to be crazy times, people. Crazy times.
You'll start having a hankering for glitter, is what it'll be.
Yeah, no. Not even
All
now.
right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you join the Facebook group. Make sure you post your minis up so that we can have more minis to show and to talk about.
Exactly.
And next time, we are going to be painting Power Rangers. So
Come and check
be
that
ready
out.
for that. That's going to be fun.
I'm going to bust out all of my whimsy
All of your whimsy.
as much as possible.
How much Power Ranger knowledge do you have?
Damn, I have already told my one Power Ranger story.
You gotta go quick.
I gotta go and find some.
You gotta binge watch that. It's not on Netflix, so good luck.
Yep, okay. Thanks. We'll check it out.
Yep. All right. Well, that's our show today. I'm Gretchen,
I'm Dave.
and we'll see you at your friendly local game store.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.